Good morning. How to complete 2020 Form 940 FUTA tax return, employer's annual federal unemployment tax return. Part 1. If you had to pay state unemployment tax in one state, only enter the state abbreviation. So line 1A, you enter your state where your business is located on line 1A. Line B, if you had to pay state unemployment tax in more than one state, you are a multi-state employer, so you check 1B and you complete Schedule A Form 940. Line 2, if you pay wages in a state that is subject to credit reduction, you check line 2 and complete Schedule A Form 940. So we can take a look at what qualifies for credit. I believe some states have not paid their due to the government, therefore you may not be eligible to claim credit if you live in those states. And you'll find information in the instructions, and all the link will be in our free download section on our blog ninasoap.com. So if you pay wages in a state that is subject to credit reduction, a state that hasn't repaid money it borrowed from federal government to pay unemployment benefits, is called a credit reduction state. The U.S. Department of Labor determines which states are credit reduction states. So if you pay wages that are subject to the unemployment tax law of a credit reduction state, you may have to pay more FUTA tax when filing your Form 940. So for tax year 2020, the USVI is the only credit reduction state. If you pay wages subject to unemployment tax law of the USVI, check the box 2 and fill out Schedule A Form 940. Okay. So the instructions is on page 8 of 2020 instructions for Form 940. In our test problem, we left it blank and we just put IA for Iowa on line A. So part 2, determine your FUTA tax before adjustment. And if any line does not apply to you, you just leave it blank. Line 3, total payments to all employees. In our test, is just one person. It's just, one person, the owner of the business, paying 100 in salary. So the total is 100. But if you use a spreadsheet to track incomes you paid, and we do have employer federal tax record spreadsheet that we'll have on our website ninasoap.com, so that you can download it to use to track incomes that you pay yourself if you are the only one running your business, or to track incomes you pay your staff members if you are not using any accounting software for that matter. And the total line will total all the wages you pay, and the spreadsheet is not locked, so you'll be able to make any adjustment that you want to, to fit your business need. And the total pay during the year is $100, and that's that $100 we are going to pay FUTA tax on. So line 3 will be $100 for all payment to all employees, and this total payment will include payments for services for all employees. Even if the payment aren't taxable by FUTA, your method of payment doesn't determine whether payment are wages. You may have to pay wages hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. You may have to pay wages by piecework or as a percentage of profits, including the following. So you include all those payments. So that will be compensation, fringe benefits such as sick pay, retirement pension, other payments, so tips of $20 or more in a month that your employees reported to you, payment made by a predecessor employer to the employees of a business you acquired, payment of to non-employees who are treated as employees by the state unemployment tax agency. Wages may be subject to FUTA tax even if they are excluded from your state tax unemployment. And they have an example. When you pay $44,000 to one employee, $8,000 to another employee, and $16,000 to another employee, you total them all for line 3. So you are not even just going to do the first $7,000 or anything. You are going to use the full amount that you pay your employers during the year. That will go on line 3. Line 4, payment exempt from FUTA. That will go on line 4. And you have for A, for B, for C, for D, for E to check. It could be the fringe benefits that is exempt from FUTA. It could be group term life insurance. It could be retirement pension. It could be dependent care or other. So anyone that is exempt from FUTA, you will put the amount on line 4 and you will check which box apply to that amount. Line 4, total of payment made to each employee is in excess of $7,000. So in that same example that you pay $44,000 to one of the employee, it is the first $7,000 that you will pay FUTA on. So the excess, the difference between $44,000 and $7,000 will go on line 5. So you'll do that for each one of your staff members that you pay more than $7,000 to during the year, and you take $7,000 off of each one of their salaries, and the remaining will go on line 5. So that means you'll need to adjust your spreadsheet in a way that or add more rows to be able to take the first 7,000 off to find the remaining excess for each one of your employees or staff members. Line 6, subtotal. You'll total line 4 and line 5, and that will go on line 6. And remember, you could round or you could use the cents. But if you choose to round, you round everything. If you choose to use cents, you use them. You don't miss rounding and using cents at the same time. In our example, we are using cents and we don't have any exempt from FUTA, so we left line 6 blank. We didn't put 0, we left it blank. Line 7, total taxable FUTA wages. Line 3, which is the total of all payment to all employees, minus line 6, all the excess about 7,000 for each one of the employees, and all the exemption from FUTA tax. So everything you pay minus what is not subject to FUTA tax will give you line 7, the taxable FUTA wages, and it will go on line 7. Line 8, FUTA tax before adjustment. So you'll take line 7 times 0.006. In our case, it is 60 cents. So we put 0 for dollar area, and we put 60 cents in the cents section. So that's 0.60. And we will cover part 1 and part 2 in this video and podcast, and we will continue the next session in another video and podcast. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Thank you for watching our videos, and thank you for reading our blog. We'll have the instructions in our blog, and we'll have the link to the IRS instructions and the form under free downloads on our blog as well, ninasoap.com. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you all that subscribe. I'm Afiavi Ojune Libroman, creators of Libron Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel, Libron Consulting LLC podcast, ninasoap.com, our blog. And we do have online store for natural products, ninasoap.com, for reseller product, household products, liberales.com, for custom apparels, liberlabel.com, and for digital product, liberdownload.com. Thank you.